God, you look quite handsome in this light, Darren.
Oh, God.
Right then, so we're live now, Darren. Right, so then, Darren, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, Lee. Yeah, my name's Darren. From Absolute Koi. Been trading since the late 90s in the business, but early 2000s when we set Absolute Koi. So, yeah, since some changes, a couple of decades.
Yeah, excellent. And so what brought you into the business side of this? Did you have, were you a hobbyist before this all started? Talk a bit about your history of the
Yeah,
koi.
to be honest, like a lot of koi dealers, it starts off as a hobby. And yeah, it's quite addictive. And I was looking for better fish, better service, and at the time I couldn't find anything, so I started to go to Japan. And yeah, from a hobby, turned it into a business, and yeah, really grateful of it, to be fair.
Yeah. So your first pond,
Yes.
did you move
Yeah.
into a house that had a hole in the ground, or did you actively pursue
No,
it?
to be honest, yeah, we got really lucky. We bought a 3-bed semi, and fortunately, it got an L-shaped garden. And I was like, what will we do with all this space? And I had this brainwave on a Friday night over a few beers. Oh, I know, we'll build a pond. And the next day, Saturday, the digger turned up, and away we went digging this pond out. And I asked a mate of mine to come and do some block laying, and he came round and said, oh, my dad keeps fish, and I'd got this crazy idea of having this gravel filter. And he laughed at me, and in the end I ended up going up to his place. We've got this beautiful Japanese koi pond with bottom drains, and yeah, he drew it all out for me, put the whole job on hold until I could afford to do it. And fortunately, we did it properly. I had 4 banks, 4 bottom drains, 4 filters, 10,000 gallon pond, my first pond, and everything I put in there, and he run RO as well. In fact, this was back in early 2000. It was like RO was, fairly
A new concept.
but this guy was doing it. So if it weren't for him, a guy called John Hartley, if it weren't for him, it would have all gone very wrong, and I probably wouldn't be where I am today.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Filtration system, what were you using back then?
Back then, it was 4 banks of green multi-bay
Yeah.
with Japanese matting.
Yeah.
First one. And as they evolved, when floating media came out, or bio,
Yeah.
K1, we come 2 of the first chains, we took the Jap mat out, and we had moving bed
Moving
K1,
beds.
but then
Yeah.
still Jap matting in the end
Yeah.
to polish it
Yeah.
up.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And sourcing your first koi in
Yeah.
the pond,
Yeah.
how did that come about? Where did you go?
Oh man, I mean, back then there was Yukon Koi, Koi Water Barn, when Tony was at
Yeah.
down where they were at the original. I never met Tony's dad then, can't say. It was I was dealing with Tony and Pete, and then yeah, as the business took off, I started going to Japan myself, and it went from there really.
Trying to find a
Yeah.
dream.
Yeah.
Did you find any dreams over there in Japan?
Yeah, I think I did. I ended up going over there, and I fell in love with the place straight away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that's what I wanted to do, and it went from there. It was a passion more than anything.
Were you go down south, or were you up north?
No, initially it was all around Niigata,
Yeah.
Nagaoka, and we used to stop in the Nagaoka Grand,
Yeah.
eat in the yakitori bar in Nagaoka, and then about 8-9 years ago decided to change the business, and we shopped down south. We just felt as though we needed to do something different to what everybody else was doing, and yeah, never looked back really. To be honest.
Excellent. Can you remember the first fish you bought for your own pond in Japan?
It was a Sankey.
Where from?
It was actually from Japan. The breeders in Japan. Oh, I can't remember what breeder it was for me as a hobbyist.
Okay.
But I know it was from Yukon Koi as a hobbyist.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, that's I can't remember what breeder it'd be.
So your long-term memory is not very good. Your short-term memory,
Yeah.
however, you've just come back from Japan yesterday.
Yeah.
What was the latest fish you bought?
We bought over 200 pieces of sakai, Kahaku and Sankei, all certificated female, and we bought about 100 hand-picked Omasako, Shirotsure.
Nice.
To be honest, I weren't intending. We went to the All Japan Koi Show, and we did some business, some networking with the Profidrum side, and saw some great fish. You know, they truly took your breath away. And then on the back of the show, we ended up going down south on the Sunday, catching the train down to Okayama, did Momotaro, Sakai, Matsue, and Narita Koi Farm as well.
So going back to the event, the All Japan, how many drunk breeders were dancing to 70s beats there on the night?
How many breeders?
They do like a bit of a drink and a party on that particular night of the year.
I thought it was well presented, the show.
Yeah.
I think the temperatures, you know, saw all the snow.
Yeah.
That created some challenges for the breeders with the condition. And also the lighting had all changed. All the lighting had gone to LED.
Right.
So the word was that Sankei and Showa really lit up, but Kahaku ended up being a bit
background
flat.
a bit.
I expected to bump into more Europeans there. It was quiet on that front, if I'm honest. We was there all day Saturday, all day Sunday, saw the presentation, then we came away Sunday night.
Right.
But yeah, fairly busy. Saw some friends from Australia, some guys from America was there, and yeah, there was the same view.
Thoughts of the GC?
Yeah, it just took the breath away. It's very difficult to get over the whys over when you see it on social media, but I mean the body, the skin, and the sumo was, like I say, just mind-blowing really.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought it well deserved, if I'm honest.
Yeah, good.
And the other thing, just to finish up on, don't forget, the last 7 GCs
have been Kahaku. Yeah.
And I think the Sankei has been a long time coming, this last year or two.
Yeah.
There's been an awful lot of Sankeis that's been at the front, so it's been nice to get that.
Yeah, that's good. Maybe the LED lighting helped that along the way as well.
Yeah. I was speaking to Ryuki about it, and there's a Kahaku that's tipped that he's got for next year to change the LED lighting alone to make it more a neutral playing ground. There's talks of a £10 million bill just to change the lighting just for the show for next year. Whether that'll happen or not, we don't know. But you know, it does seem as though it does seem to light up Sankey and show. Whether there's any truth in it, I don't know. Or a bit of hard feelings there, we don't know at the moment.
Right, jumping back on the plane and coming back to this country, up in Redford, let's go through the shop a little bit.
Yeah.
So, talk us through the shop. What size is the shop? How many ponds have you got going here?
So so we've got 9 ponds here. 40-ton main show pond, 2 12 tons, 4 10-ton, and 2 15-ton ponds. All got Profidrum on them, and all but one has got backer showers on them. It never was always like that. We started off with other systems, and we built on them and figured out what's best for the fish over time.
Walking through the showroom part of the pond, the shop.
Yeah.
Looks spectacular from outside, by the way. And I'm going to put some drone footage of the establishment on the video later on.
Yeah.
Also, you sell quite a lot of dry goods.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, dry goods. We're a big Ikari house, so we feed Ikari with our fish, and we do believe it's the best food, if I'm honest. We've tried lots. But yeah, pumps, food, treatments, water treatments, anything that really keeps the fish safe. We've got variable speeds, entry-level pumps all the way up to flow friends.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, choice. The UK has got this kind of loads of choice thing going on. It's always been the same, so it's quite competitive as well. So yeah, that's something that you need to stop a lot of.
And also being one of your punters who actually orders from you, I get most of my treatments from you now.
Yeah.
Because of how quick I can get them. They're literally, I order them one day,
Yeah.
they're down with me the next day.
Yeah,
Never failed on that front, to be honest.
Yeah, I think it's to be expected nowadays. You know, a lot of people's buying habits and the way they buy has changed a lot. You know, pandemic has set some precedents where even the real old school would rather go into a bricks and mortar shop. They've been forced into buying online. So I think having the stock and being able to deliver next day with DPD or APC, I think it's probably what people expect.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So going on to products and product selections and new products that you want to bring into store.
Yeah.
You know, obviously you've had the sequence pumps come back.
Yeah.
From Ben from the US.
Yeah, yeah.
One of my best buddies.
Yeah, yeah.
And to the hobbyists that you actually cater for, I think you've got everything from the budget hobbyist all the way up to the Rockefeller hobbyist.
Yeah, I think the thing is there, and we have seen a little bit of drop off since this Ukraine. You know, people start out, you know, an entry level, so they'll often come in with the wife, with the kids, and they want to build a pond, and you know, they'll start off with an Easy Pod, a Nexus, and even then, you know, it's quite a big build that, you know, comes with that. And often they'll progress up to the drum filters, you know, having fell in love with it. And of course, there's some people that come into the shop, they've got friends, and the friends have looked at them in the eye and say, you've got to go with the drum, you know, and they trust them, and they let go of that kind of money and go straight up to the top level.
Yeah.
It does worry me a little bit with high energy costs and so forth, with people coming in the lower end and starting off without that feed coming in. I wonder where, you know, that progression's going to be. Yeah. Or we're just going to expect people to come straight into the hobby at this level. Yeah. So time will tell.
Yeah.
You know.
So going on to your wet products.
Yeah.
Koi.
Yeah.
So they're normally sourced by yourself from down south.
Yeah.
So breeder-wise, Momotaro.
Yeah, I mean, I do think, and that's just in my mind, but we end up with it suits me better in the south. I think it's a different way of business. You know, the Sakai, Momotaro, Matsue, Ueno, Kawa, the southern. There's quite a lot of distance between those farms, so you can often find yourself driving for 3 hours, getting to the farm, doing some business, having some lunch there, stopping there overnight, and then driving to another farm the next day. Whereas Nagaoka, Niigata, you could probably do 20 farms in a day if you wanted to.
Yeah.
But I think it's, you know, they are more expensive. I think the way they do business is different. I think fish grow better, if I'm honest. And there's less people really want to be doing all that driving around down south. So it just makes things more interesting as a business, you know?
But we were talking off camera before this, and I think driving around is going to be less of a function in the future because it's all turning to online auctions these days. Yeah,
the world's changed, and Japan's no different. You know, the breeders have found themselves pushing, or the top three have, you know, let's say Sakai, Dainichi, Momotaro, it's no secret, a lot of their fish are going through auctions. I'm of the opinion, you know, generally the best fish did go to auction. Since to be honest, the pandemic and the Ukraine and not bodies going into Japan, the breeders have found themselves pushing all the stock in through the auctions. A lot of smaller breeders have been left down. You know, their business has been sort of very slow, and the big three and some others have been able to work it out. So it is very tricky. I find myself going this trip and trying to get access to the fish and being told they're all going through the auctions. That's frustrating. You can't even check them neither.
Yeah.
So I just wonder, I know speaking to Dice at Montara, they're actually thinking about having the presence as well as the virtual auction. So with a camera set up, so there's people bidding online virtually from overseas, as well as people being there.
Kind of like the famous scene from S Legend.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
So whether they'll all follow suit or not, we don't know. But it's changing. If for the moment that's how they've decided to do the auctions, and I'm told that they're enjoying it like that way. So whether they change back in the time or not after a while, we don't know.
Well, that's to be seen, isn't it?
Yeah.
So going back now to dry goods.
Yeah.
And you obviously own Profi now, don't you?
Yeah. We.
So talk a bit about Profi and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that.
I mean, Profi Drum came along some years ago. We was the UK agent for Profi Drum. We invested quite heavily. We went over and picked them up every month. We paid on invoice, and we made it our own in the UK. And Jan, when the pandemic struck, sort of March 2020, about 4 weeks later, I had a phone call from Jan, the boss man at Profi Drum, and said, Darren, as your Profi Drum's biggest customer, absolutely, he was a quarter of his overall business.
Yeah.
He said, do you want to buy the company? And we said, well, not really, but not with just funding it until the pandemic. It's fairly crazy, but we'll have a look at the books. And by September, November of that same year, 2021, we put a deal on the table. And I can tell you it was fairly significant, £750,000.
Yeah.
Which was fairly crazy, going into the unknown.
Exactly, yeah.
There was a lot of stock there, and we brought the whole intellectual property, or the DXF reading files, or the AutoCAD, or the brands, and website and stock, or the order book, we brought into the UK. So we've got a factory just down the road from here where we make now everything in-house. So water jetting, the laser cutting, or the plastic welding, or the stainless steel welding. It goes off-site to be pickled, which is acid dipped and bead blasted, comes back in and it's assembled, or the quality control. The gearboxes are bought in from Germany. We pushed that to 2 or 3 of the big gear motor manufacturers in the UK. I think 1 or 2 of them didn't even come back to us. A couple said, what a lovely product, we can't get anywhere near on quality or price, so we buy them in from Germany. We're about halfway through having our own control box, if we want to bring that in-house as well. So yeah, it's all good.
Perfect. And you've actually invited me down.
We have, yeah.
To witness and to vlog basically the factory and how the products are made.
Yeah, I think one thing that goes missed is how they're made. Profi Drum's got a very good reputation, and it doesn't shout about itself very much. It lets the product do the talking. I think what's evident is a lot of our competition, their prices have come up to sort of match, because we're doing it all in-house now. We can, and we're based in the UK as well, we can keep the costs low. We're looking for different manufacturing techniques that I'm to import. Although materials have been affected quite a lot with the Ukraine thing. Yeah. But yeah, it'd be nice to get to the factory and actually show the cutting and the welding and the way we assemble everything. And I think when people see what goes into building a Profi Drum, it'll be a bit of an eye-opener.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And also, one of my favourite things in the world, Momotaro showers.
Yeah.
They're made in-house as well.
Yeah, so basically the stainless has gone through the roof a little bit in terms of cost. 17% of the world's nickel comes out of Ukraine, so stainless steel has gone from about £3,000 or £4,000 per tonne up to £6,500 per tonne.
Yeah.
Obviously that's created some problems. We could drop down to 304. We chose not to. It's all 316. The way that they're made is optimized. They all stack in one inside one another. We get the most out. We nest it up properly on a sheet. So yeah. Obviously the Montar at the back. The secret's in the media.
Yeah.
We can all have stainless. Looks great. It's not going to move, but you know the secret's in the media. To be fair, that's obviously imported from Japan.
And also because it's all built in house. I can remember one of my first correspondence with you. It's phoning you up. You probably can't even remember me, but I asked for a lid for one of the standard showers, but without the slots in for the 4-inch pipe.
Oh yeah.
Because I made a secret T inside it.
Yeah.
And again, there was no extra cost to that. It was actually less work.
Yeah.
And I had it a week later.
Well, that's the thing. I think the great thing is, one of the benefits of being in the UK as well, with UK customers, even with the Profi, we do a lot custom build. It's all right when you're building a pond from scratch. You can build the whole pond around the filter to some degree. But what about the people that's had, wants to bring it up to date and drop a filter into an existing whole space? So we can make them narrow. We can make them a bit taller, or a bit shorter, or have the inlets so they meet the bottom drains and the pipes and so forth. So we can do a lot of custom work as well. Profi Drum actually does a lot of stuff for oyster companies, zoos, zoology, penguin pools, hippo pools. We've mentioned Wildlife Park, Woodside Wildlife Park, just down the road. They have crocodile pools where they're chucking in, chicken, and we're extracting bone and things like that. So it's amazing, with the overlap. We sell some stainless Profi drums into Crown Paints where they want to strip out particles that's in the water. So it's a water filtration system. It doesn't necessarily have to be caught.
The BHN.
Yeah.
Take it away. There's loads and loads of, different medias on the market.
Loads, yeah. I mean, let's BHM Brachias Media's the original one.
Yeah.
It's still, in my opinion, the best. We've got a lot of copies. The Chinese mentality is it looks the same. It is the same, only to find out that it crumbles and it goes soft, and when people are taking the lids off, it's got a square edge to it where the water's actually eroded through it. Brachias will never do that. Even now. It's not cheap. There's not a lot of margin in it, if I'm dead honest. We the last container we had in there, we paid $20,000 US for a 40-foot container, whereas normally it cost us $3,500. I think we put the price up from $145 to $165. It was purely just the the logistics of getting it into the country. So yeah, great product. And when you look at the farms that are using it, the proof's in the pudding, so to speak. It was good enough for them. If you could take a bit of Japan and bring it over to the UK, then in my mind, you can argue all you like. That's where they're made.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Right. Well, thank you, Darren. What we're going to do now is we'll have a walk around the establishment. I'll do some shots of the fish and all that kind of stuff. And obviously, if anybody wants to contact the shop, I'll put all the information on, and any questions about Profi to bottom drains.
You've
got time for everyone, haven't you?
No problem.
Thank you very much, Darren.
Cheers.